Pistils and their seeds and fruit. My world wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you. Oh, they're all so lovely. They're all flowers. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
T minus 7 seconds.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy is brought to you by...
Flowers come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Each and every one of them grew from a seed that came from a flower. It's a cycle! Flowers are alive! We're alive! The hills are alive! Let's go! Humans need flowers because we need to eat. Most of what we eat comes from flowers or things that eat flowers. For us, flowers are fascinating. Take a look at this. It's our big plastic flower model of science. Now, flowers are like people. There's boys and girls, but flowers aren't like people in that some flowers are boys and girls at the same time. In the world of flowers, we say male and female. Now, the male parts of the flower are right here. They're called stamen. And inside the stamen is where flowers grow the tiny grains of pollen. Now, the female part of the flower is called the pistil. It's right here. And inside the pistil is where flowers grow tiny eggs. They're just like chicken eggs. No kidding. So here's the idea. When pollen hooks up with eggs from the same type of flower, the eggs can grow into seeds. Seeds that make new plants. Now, plants can't move around. They can't travel. So flowers always need a way to get their pollen to mix with their eggs. And they get a lot of help from birds, the bees, the wind, and animals. That way the pollen can move from one flower to another place where flowers of the same kind are growing. So flowers make seeds, and they're good at it. Oh, hi, Drew.
Oh, hi, Bill. Wow, these flowers are such flirts.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm serious. I mean, look at these daisies and sweet williams. Their color is just screaming, look at me, play with me. Come get my pollen.
Yeah, the flowers, flirting.
That's right, Bill. And, flowers don't just look good and smell pretty just for us, Flowers need to attract insects and other animals so they can pollinate and make seeds.
Insects and birds.
That's why they're such flirts.
I can't believe I'm meeting Drew Barrymore.
I can't believe I'm meeting Bill Nye the Science Guy.
I'll take a dozen. Science!
Oh, flowers, you're so pretty. In a field in the country or a garden in the city. But underneath your good looks, there's a goal, I know. To make more of your kind. You make seeds that will grow.
Pollen dissemination systems. The birds and the bees. Airports are where airplanes land. Flowers are where insects land. Airports have markers and lights to guide us in for a landing. Flowers have landing markings too. You can see them. Now, the animals that pollinate flowers usually don't see the same thing we do. They see ultraviolet light. Ultraviolet light. It's a little bit past the range of light that our eyes can see. So when a bee looks at a flower, it sees this. Bee vision. The flower reflects ultraviolet light, which a bee sees. Anyway, you can see that the markings on the flower point right to the nectar. So as a bee goes from flower to flower, it carries a little pollen with it. And pretty soon you've got pollinated flowers, and that makes seeds, and that makes more flowers. Go bees! 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 Go!
It's Pollen Connection with your host, Chuck Willoughby.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Well, so tell us about your little get-together with the Snapdragon, Phoebe.
Let me just say, I had no problem finding the place. His petals were like neon signs, Chuck. When I got there, I headed straight for his nectar.
You've been one busy little bee.
Take a look. Here are the stamen. These are the stamen. They have the pollen. The pollen falls off the stamen into the pistil. The eggs are in there. They're right here in this white goopy stuff. See? The eggs get fertilized by the pollen. And they can grow into a seed. See right there? Now when that seed falls off, it can grow into a new plant, which makes a new flower. So it goes stamen, pollen, pistil, egg, seed, flower. Stamen, pollen, pistil, egg, seed, flower. Stamen, pollen, pistil, egg, seed, flower. It's a cycle. I mean, they're good at it. They've been doing it for 100 million years.
Orchids are works of art to me. They're just wonders of nature. One of the things that makes them unique and special is the seed. It's the tiniest seed there is in the world, and this seed will take a long time to germinate. This is our nursery within the nursery. These are all of our baby orchids, and way before they become beautiful flowers. These little plantlets are 6 months old. These little babies are a year and a half old, and these are our baby orchids. And then the baby orchids go into childhood, and they spend 1 to 2 years in childhood. Then they're teenagers for 1 year or so, and finally they become flowering adults, beautiful and gorgeous about 5 years later.
After a flower produces seeds, it's as though it says to the seeds, get out of here, leave, skedaddle, vamoose, get out of town, hasta la vista, seedy. That's because the more spread out seeds get, the better chance they have of growing into new flowers, the better chance they have of getting enough sunlight, enough water, and enough nutrients from the soil. It's all part of what we call seed dispersal. Seed dispersal. So let's say that I'm a flower. And I make seeds. And these seeds have little hooks on them, like Velcro. So then when an animal walks through the forest, the seeds stick to the animal's fur. They stick to the animal's fur. And then they hitch a ride to another location.
This skunk may rub some burrs off as he climbs over logs and brushes past trees. The seeds inside the burrs may grow into new plants.
And anyway, Not all seeds get around like that. Some seeds get around in the ocean. Coconuts can float. And then when the wind blows, they can go from one island to another.
A new coconut palm tree may grow where this seed has washed ashore.
Isn't that wild?
Bill? Up here, Bill.
Oh.
Take a look at these.
Cool.
The seeds of the maple tree are inside pods shaped like helicopter blades. When wind blows the seeds of the trees, the pods whirl through the air and away from the plants on which they grew.
You ought to stop. Stop, 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 stop.
Oh, look at these.
And smell the flowers.
Coming this spring from Perennial Productions. He wanted to see the world, float wherever the wind would take him, maybe hitch a ride on a southbound dog.
I gotta scatter, Pops. I gotta find a place where I can grow. And you can't stop me.
Why, son? Why?
Because, Pops, I'm a seed.
Not just any seed. He was a weed, the bad seed. But when it came to laying down roots, he was very, very good. The bad seed. It's the story every flower lives for.
Yes. Bees are buzzing. Birds are chirping. Sun is shining a little bit. And it's raining. It's a beautiful day for being a flower.
Do you know that almost every time you or your parents go to the grocery store, you end up buying flowers? It's true. See, humans rely on flowers or flowering plants for food. Take a look. All the stuff on this counter comes from plants with flowers.
Fruits! Vegetables! Get your fruits and vegetables!
I'll take one.
What'll it be, fruit or vegetable?
Fruit, please.
Fruit. Let's see. How about a tomato?
I said a fruit.
No. A tomato is a fruit. See, it comes from a flower, has a fleshy texture, and there's seeds inside. That's a good-looking fruit. Anyone else?
Vegetable, please.
Vegetable. How about a potato? See, we eat the root, not the fruit, so we call it a vegetable.
In my line of work, you deal with plenty of nuts. Sure, all my clients are seedy, but every now and then a grade A fruit comes along. My name is Luna Van Dyke. It's a Dutch name that means produce. Take the case of Miss Tomita Burpee. She worked down at the local grocery store. People kept asking her, was a tomato a fruit or a vegetable? Come on, let's find out. The produce department was sure it was a vegetable because it came from a vine that had to be replanted every year. But it had a heart full of seeds, which had some people calling her fruity. It turns out the tomato was leading a double life. I had to break the news to her real easy. Miss Burpee, some scientists say they're a fruit, and some say they're a vegetable. You say tomato, I say tomato. Who's right or who's wrong? Fruit or vegetable, it was going to end up as ketchup sooner or later.
Edible flowers are so good. There are over 50 varieties.
And they add a lot of zing to your salads and your great mixtures of greens.
The only thing you really want to be careful about is you don't want to just go out and eat any flower you see, because they're like mushrooms. Some are good, some are bad. So you want to make sure you don't get a poisonous one, so always check with someone that knows.
This is the flower of the bronze fennel. It tastes exactly like black licorice candy.
These are the nasturtium flowers. It's hot.
These are my favorite edible flowers. They're called arugulas, and they have a very distinct nutty taste.
These are garlic flowers. You can either cook them or roast them or eat them raw. They're good in a stir fry or in a salad, and either way, they're definitely going to wake up your taste buds.
Time for one more call. Line 1, you got the anthem man. What's the story, Morning Glory?
Am I on? Anthem Man, you suck. Flowers combine the pollen from one flower with the eggs of another. Well, why bother? Why bother? Why bother? Well, please consider the following. When things mix, they change. Let's say this flask of red liquid is like the egg of a flower, and these drops of blue liquid are like pollen. See, the color changes. See, pollen. See, it's not red or blue. No, now it's purple, like these flowers. Now, when plants make seeds, they make hundreds or thousands of them at a time. That's 1,000 chances for change. Now, there's an old saying. The only thing you can count on in this world is that things are going to change. And environments change. Like maybe it gets hot, maybe it gets cold, maybe it gets dry, or maybe it gets rainy. Or a volcanic explosion. That's what happened here. This is the site of a recent volcanic eruption. A few years ago, this place was completely barren. But look, the first things to start growing back are flowers. Not fungi or ferns, but flowers. That's because flowers make seeds. Thousands of seeds. And each seed is a chance for change. Don't take my word for it. Look around. The flowers are flourishing. See, this is why flowers mix pollen with eggs to get thousands of chances for change. Thousands of chances for change. Thank you for joining me on Consider the Following.
Hey, try this. Fill up 2 glasses with really hot water from the tap. Add lots of food coloring to one of the glasses. Now, get a fresh cut white flower and carefully cut the stem in half, the long way, like this. Put half the stem in the colored water and the other half in the plain water. You may want to secure it with a clothespin and some tape to keep it from falling over. In about an hour, it'll look like this.
Ooh.
See, once the water starts up one side of the stem, it stays there and ends up on that side of the flower. See?
Ready.
You can see how water carries things up into the flower, like nutrients and fertilizer, and even food coloring. Try it!
Try it! Hey, over here! Here! Speedwell, arnica, old man's beard, aster, sandwort, fescue, seeds, thistle, a noxious weed, Indian paintbrush, lupin. This is a subalpine meadow. All of these flowers are in bloom and they're getting pollinated. That way they can make seeds, and some of those seeds will grow into new flowers next year. Happens every season. See the seeds floating on the wind? They came from flowers. See, the flowers have spent millions of years getting themselves set up to make seeds that the wind will carry all over the place. So even though this is a volcanic landscape, it's barren. Hardly anything would grow here. It's just solid rock. But see, the flowers, the seeds, they find a place. They drag along the ground. They get a little bit wet in the rain. They find a place to grow. That's why flowers own this place.
Look at all these flowers, must be 250,000 different kinds. Blows my mind, yeah, 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 yeah. If you're not a coward, we'll learn just how they pollinate. Statement here, pistol there, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanna be where the flowers bloom, and you are perennials. That's why I love it when it's May or June. So many colors. Just one time I want to see how a flower can make these seeds. Pollen to the stigma, sweet sensation. Just a thing that we call pollination. I wanna be where the flowers bloom, and you are perennials. That's why I love it when it's May or June. So many colors.
That's our show. Thanks for watching. If you'll excuse me, I've got some ultraviolet nectar guides and pollination attractors to home in on. See ya!
Woo! Give me one.
Produced in association with the National Science Foundation.
So it goes stamen, pollen. Oh no, new plant which makes it flower. How long are you gonna be up there, man?
I don't know.
I'll see you after lunch.
Hey, guys, don't play around. Don't play around.
Swami. Okay, sorry.
Oh, flowers, you're so pretty. In a field in the country or a garden in the city.
Oh, it started off so good. See, let's get here.
So it's stamen, pollen, pistil, egg, flower. Seed. Seed, flower. Stamen, pollen, pistil, egg, flower. Stamen, pollen, pistil, egg, flower. Stamen, pollen, pistil, egg, flower. Ha ha! They've been at it for 100 million years. Don't forget seed.